Good evening and welcome back to another episode of What's Your Story? It's been a couple of weeks since we've had someone sit down in the hot seat, and tonight we are very happy to be sitting here with Mary Grady. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mary's one of our local favorites. She walks by the library pretty much every day.
Every day, maybe a couple times.
And I was looking out one day a few months ago and I said, you know what? I know Mary, but I don't know Mary. So we asked if you would like to come and be a guest here. So thank you very much for saying yes.
I was so happy to hear from you. And I try to come to the library at least once a week, but I do walk everywhere in Kennebunkport. So I think everyone thinks I'm their neighbor.
How many miles a week would you say you walk, or a day?
I try to walk between 5 and 8 miles a day, which is not a huge amount for some people.
That's big.
But so every week I try to walk at least 60 miles.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
So, yeah.
You inspire us.
That's what people say. I do it for my health first, and then I'm like, there's a lot of benefits from walking. Yeah. So I enjoy that as well. And I get to know a lot of people.
I bet. A lot of dogs.
Yep, a lot of dogs. Yes, I do. And a lot of houses that I never knew were there. And and then I meet a lot of people that live in the houses. So it's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's
I
great.
enjoy it.
That's great. So did you grow up around here?
I actually grew up outside of Boston. I came from a really large Irish family.
Yeah.
I had 11 siblings. And, my father was the town dentist. My mother was the town nurse. And
so you knew everybody.
So I knew everyone. So, I lived in Rhode Island for a while, and I moved to Maine just after my kids were born. So my kids have lived here their whole life. Now I have a son who lives in Colorado, and my other son lives here. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, they both went to school out of state, and then they come back a lot to visit me. So that's nice. Yeah,
This is
very nice.
This is a great place to, as far as probably kids go, even adult kids, they want to come back. And,
Yeah, and that's really nice because sometimes people say, "Oh, my kids never want to come home," and I'm like, "Oh, mine always seem to love to come home, but I love to visit them too." So it works out great. Yeah,
that's good. So did you go to school when in Massachusetts?
Yes, I did. I went to public schools. My father was on the school board in town he was chairperson for 30 years, which was a huge thing. So my father always valued public education. So it was not by chance that I went into teaching, and several of my siblings did as well. And so I taught school for 30 years, and my last 13 were in Kennebunk. So I taught at the high school here.
Okay. So, did you have a specialty here?
Yes, foreign languages. I taught Spanish here, and I loved it, and I still love it. So I tutor now, and I help out a lot of local teens. Yeah.
Do you find here in Maine, as far as, I know that people say, if you want to learn a language, start when you're 5, but do you find people that are, for like a teenager that hasn't picked it up yet, or I'm kind of asking for myself, is it too late to learn?
It's never too late to learn.
Okay.
And there are some great apps, and I know a lot of the librarians see me with my AirPods and I'm listening to podcasts or apps, and there's Babbel, different apps that you can get on your phone, and many of them are free, and they'll slowly get you into the language where you practice the language. And there's speaking parts, listening parts, just exactly like the modern language classroom. A lot of people will say to me, older people, I can read all this French, but I can't say any of it.
Right.
And I said, oh my goodness, you did not have a teacher like myself, because the teachers I knew, we all had the kids speaking and reading and conversing and, culturally getting into the culture, which is a great thing too.
Yeah.
So, and Kennebunk, we really worked hard in the public schools here of getting foreign languages to start early. So they start grade 1.
That's
they start
great.
taking. Yeah. So they have it every week, and many, as they move up, it's almost daily. So that's great too. Yeah.
That is great, because I think, you know, if you talk with people from other countries, they might, you know, 3, 4 languages.
Right.
Just any, you know, at any time. And I sort of feel like here we expect everybody to know our language.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear that they're. Now, is that, you know, something that falls in the budget that is high priority, low priority?
Well, actually, Kennebunk has, you know, RSU 21 has put it as a high priority.
Good.
So it's not considered just a special class.
Good.
It's considered part of the curriculum.
Yep.
So it's a great program that they have here, and we worked hard. I was myself, I volunteered to be on the main learning results.
Yeah.
So for years, we designed the whole curriculum for world and classical languages.
Yeah.
So it was great. And now they do call them world languages, like French and Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. They call them world languages. So it's like, yeah, to be out in the world, you need to know another language. So a lot of the kids that, you know, those that really would like to, they can graduate high school bilingual in another language. So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every year.
That is so great. Now, as the public library, what could we be doing to help with that goal? Should we be? I mean, we have a few books.
Right.
We don't have a lot of books. Are there special things that you could recommend us to maybe have in our collection?
Well, I would say the best thing really for kids now, or even adults, is on the computer to have the earphones and to be able to do that. And sometimes and I think you guys have a good setup in the business office there, but maybe there could be like, you know, little walls or dividers up if people would like to practice, because a lot of the apps I was telling you about, you have to speak. And so they kind of grade you as in, you know, they give you, they're not hard, but they give you like a 0 to 10. And so you move on to the harder classes by them hearing your speaking ability.
Okay.
And so they speak, you hear it, and then you speak back. And that's what you want to do. You know, if you're not speaking it, if you're just reading it, you're not going to learn it. Yeah.
And I think what I have found, just trying a few of those, like, is it Pimsleur? And I use Duolingo.
Yep, Duolingo's a good one.
And I've tried Babbel, but saying it, répéter, you know, saying it back,
Repeat
or, you know.
It is true.
Yeah, because they'll also say, no, because they didn't hear the right inflection.
Right,
or,
exactly. So that's how you learn them. But honestly, it's not only the study of another language and speaking it, but you just learn a whole different world. And that's what I always felt like was so great about the library, is that you could read about a different world that you're not living in. And that's how languages are too.
Yeah.
You feel like you have a passport to another world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a great
which is pretty cool.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So besides walking,
right,
what else do you like to do in your...
Well, I'm like I say, I'm pretty active walking. I also read a lot, so I'm constantly checking out the new books here. Or also, the library has a great, in my world, I call it a gift shop or something, but it's where you could buy used books, and how much do I love this? So I'm always down there looking for books.
Oh, you're talking about our book
sale?
Yeah. Okay.
So I call it like my little bookshop that I love checking out. And if I really loved a book and I have a friend who didn't read it, I will buy the book for them, because you can get them for such a reasonable amount. And then a lot of people I know in the neighborhoods around here have those little libraries. And if I buy one to read again, or I share it with a friend and they give it back to me, I put it in those so someone else can, enjoy it. I feel like it's a gift if someone gives you a book. And a lot of times, when I come in here, I'll put my name on the list to get a book. But then sometimes I'll find it downstairs and I'll think, oh, this is worth the money, and I will just buy it for myself. So I'm not a really good Amazon person like that. Yeah. And I would say I'm not really a TV person, but I love to go to the movies. So like someone had, this is my season coming up because I love to see all the movies nominated for Academy Awards.
Right. Yeah.
So this past weekend I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and so I really enjoy going to the movies as well.
That's great. Yeah. Do you have a favorite cinema?
I do. I love Flagship in Wells because I love the fact that it's a local place.
Yeah.
But if they don't seem to get the movie I want, I'll go to the Nickelodeon up in Portland. Yeah.
And they have a Nickelodeon has a nice little special, I think, on Tuesdays.
They do, $6. I know all about that. Yeah.
That's so great.
Sorry to. Yeah, and it's all day.
Yeah.
It's not just in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I love the movies, things like that.
Well, that's good to know. So if you see things and you want to recommend movies to us, let us know, because we're always looking for. We don't add as many DVDs as we used to, but we still do try to keep new ones, especially the ones that get nominated.
Right.
Just to keep, having a little bit of a fresh stack available to people. And not everybody wants to pay the subscriptions for
the channels.
All of the different channels. So we still do have a fair amount of people coming in here to borrow, series.
That's great that you have those
movies. Yeah. Right in our old bank vault.
Yeah. I love that. And the audiobooks too, you belong to that library loan. So that's a great thing. You have a lot of offerings here that I don't think people know about, and just if they explore your website, I mean, you could get tickets for events and that the library has a subscription for. So I think all of that stuff is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being an ambassador for us.
No, I'm sorry. Like, you should be doing this, but yeah. No, I do love the libraries.
That's great. So getting back to your family, you had a lot of siblings?
Yes, I was near the oldest. I had 2 older brothers, 2 younger brothers, and 7 younger sisters.
Wow.
So yeah.
So what was the dinner table like?
We had 2 dinner tables in 2 different rooms, and we always sat together for dinner, and almost everyone in my family was a really good reader, and we read a lot. We watched some of the sitcoms that were on TV, because when I was young, there wasn't any of these channels that you'd pay for or anything. It was whatever you could really get with an antenna and maybe tinfoil on that. Yeah. So it was pretty good. Yeah, and growing up outside of Boston, sports were a big thing. So
they still are.
They still are. Yeah.
So did you come to Maine or to this area before you settled here?
I did not. No, I always summered in Rhode Island, and I've heard of Maine, but I didn't know much about it. And then when we moved up to like the Wells Ogunquit area, and that's where my kids ended up going to school. Yeah. And I taught at Marshwood at that time. Yeah. And that was a great fit. And then when my kids were getting older, after my youngest graduated high school, I moved over to Kennebunk, and I lived in Kennebunkport, different apartments here. Yeah. The whole time they were in school and now. So
pretty special place.
It is. Yeah. I really love it. Yeah. And, I enjoyed my time Wells Ogunquit, that area, but I really like it over here. Yeah, it's very nice.
So as a book reader, how many do you think you read a year? How many books do you think you read?
Well, that's interesting, because my youngest son and I are going to keep track this year, because we said, geez, these people come up with these lists, or they tell you how many they read. We feel like, I don't know how many we've read. So, so far I've read 4, and he's at number 4 too. So our goal is, if we can get to 50 our first year keeping track of it, it would be good. But I think we can both beat that.
I bet you can.
Yeah, I bet I can too.
Bet you can.
Yeah. So I love reading, and I love reading what the teenagers are reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love the young adult section you have upstairs in the library, which I never knew how vast it was. I just thought it was like the little kids go upstairs, and then I went up there one day and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot there. So I think that I try to encourage teenagers that need their volunteer hours to do volunteer hours here. So I really try to promote that. Like if kids are saying that, oh, I need my volunteer hours for high school, I'm like, you need to go to the library. I don't know if Kennybunk takes the kids, but they will totally take you here, and you would be a good asset.
Yeah,
I think.
And I think that's, I mean, they are the future of this place.
Right.
Right, staying alive. So we all feel like that as well when somebody's looking for their community service hours. And sometimes it's not even that. They just looking for something to do.
Right.
Maybe they aren't in for sports or,
right,
and they just want to find something.
It's something. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if they could help out here, that would be something for them to do 1 or 2 days a week. That would be great.
Yeah. And it's nice when you see the different ages getting together too to,
right.
Even, with our technology, there's no shame. We call on our students all the time and say, come help us
right.
with something,
Well, I'm always surprised when I come in here in the middle of the day, how many different people are in the business, like the computer room.
Sitting in there,
there's teenagers, college students, senior citizens, all different, and it's just like, wow, look at all the people that find use in here.
Yeah, it's true. So as we usually round out our interview, we have like a little rapid fire 1-word answer.
Okay.
Ready for that?
Okay, sure.
All right.
I say sure, but go ahead.
And they don't have to be 1-word answers either.
Perfect.
So what would be your favorite flavored ice cream?
I would say coffee.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Are you a coffee drinker?
I'm a total coffee drinker.
Yeah.
Oh, every little coffee shop around here I go to quite a bit.
Do you have a favorite kind of coffee that you like?
I do. I always get double shot of espresso latte, non-fat latte. That's my favorite thing to get.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So just in case you're particular, I'll tell you.
Do you have a favorite color?
Favorite color, pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite book that you go back to, or the one that maybe you give it out the most, or put it in the little free libraries the most?
I loved this book, The Boy, the Mole, the Horse, and it just came out on Apple TV. Not to be promoting it, but it's wonderful. I would give it an A++.
Yeah. Oh, good.
And I've given that away a few times. Yep. It's a great book to give to a mother of sons or a mother whose son is getting married. And I've done that several times to people in the community.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yeah.
That's great to know. Thank you for that. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Oh, this is a hard one. Oh, gosh. My favorite movie used to be Brian's Song. I loved that. When I was a kid and I saw that, I could see it every single year, and they would always show it during football season.
Yes.
I loved that.
And there was no way you weren't crying.
I know, you weren't crying like at the beginning, the music, everything. True. Gosh, I will probably think of 100 after this.
Okay, that's okay. That's a good one though.
Yeah.
I forget about that one because it was so special. What about restaurant? Is there a favorite restaurant that you like to go to?
I do love Pedro's, which I love Pedro's, and it has great margaritas, I would say. And Wanby Landing, I'm kind of really liking. I'm kind of sad they're closed for 2 months, but I feel like everybody has to close down. And I'm really looking forward to the new ramp opening up in
I heard
Cape
about
Porpoise,
that,
because
yeah.
I used to love the ramp, but then they went down for a few years. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, good. Yes, I hope that when it's, springtime, it's just such a fun place to go.
It's a fun place to go.
Yeah.
And if you're having a nice meal at your house, I feel like if you get some seafood at 3 C's, yeah, you'll really enjoy it. And those are local kids that I had in school. So I really like supporting them.
Isn't that fun when you get to see them in their...
It is.
They're in their element doing their thing. Yes.
And they're so successful. And you're like, and you could always see that in them before they saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's very touching. I had a couple of kids come up to me one day in Target, and I was leaning down, looking for something, and I hear, did you just see who that was? And it's like when when you see these students, and they're like, you're out in the public.
I know.
And it just warms your heart that they even remember you.
Right.
Or...
And they'll beep the horn and hang out of their trucks, and I'm always waving back. Yeah. So it is kind of very nice.
Yeah. And you are such a special person, Mary, that I'm sure that all these students that you were able to help too really appreciated.
Oh, and I loved them even more. I really, I loved my time. Yep, with kids. Very important.
Anything like coolest place you've ever been, or?
The Galapagos. And I took a tour with kids, high school teachers, and we took the kids from the high school, great class.
Wow.
And we went to the Galapagos to see the Charles Darwin Museum and everything down there. And Ecuador, like the whole thing was so magical. And
when was that?
It was probably about... close to 10 years ago, and it was so beautiful.
Wow.
And just, it was great. I went as, the Spanish, and it was so awesome and one of the best trips of my life. Yeah.
Wow.
It was really good.
Do you have a slideshow from that you could show us sometime?
Several of the kids I know live around here, and they would be better with that, because I was kind of busy, like making sure I kept all the kids with me.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and some things I think, although it's sad to say, but some things I think you have to experience.
That's true. Yeah.
But National Geographic does a darn good job.
Yeah, they do. If we had somebody walk in here right now, and they were here for the day and said, what would you do if I only had, today to do something in Kennebunkport? What would you recommend?
Well, it would depend on the time of year, but I would advise anyone to just, if they could, walk around downtown, go to a coffee shop, go to Mornings in Paris, talk to people. You'll see who the locals are. Ask them where to go for dinner or where to go for lunch. And that's the best way, and I use that wherever I go to travel. I ask people in coffee shops, and they always seem to know where to go or what to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, my goodness.
Gracias.
De nada. Oh, my gosh, this has been awesome. And you're a gift to our community, so thank you.
Well, thank you. And it's been, I wave to you a lot. I talk with you a lot. But just getting to know you a little bit better. So we really appreciate you sitting down with us.
Thank you.
Thanks to our producer, Mike Kelly, today.
Yes, thanks, Mike.
Tonight, I should say. And thank you all for joining us. And we'll see you right back here next time on What's Your Story?
Thanks.